So we have a difficult year. We all started this year with great promise and great hope and faith. In fact, we as a church, we call this year as a year of a fresh anointing, year of greater blessing with a fresh anointing. I'm sure all of us started with a great expectation and a great hope. We believe that God will change things, but fortunately, I don't like to call it unfortunately, fortunately, God has got us on the third month itself into a year of suffering. This year, we have seen the highest number of people dying in a virus infection, and I have never seen in my life a situation like where cities after cities and countries after countries is been locked down and people are living in difficult conditions. So in a situation of suffering like this, we must learn to see beyond. I'm a great believer of the Bible. The Bible says God works everything for good. I love to keep on reminding myself and reminding all my friends, my family, my church members, all of them. I want to keep reminding one thing, that God works everything for good, not something. Everything God works for good. For especially those who love God and those who are called by His purpose. At a time like this, we have to keep reminding this hardship that hit the world, this difficult times is part of God's plan for my life. And I was looking at my car park, and my cars are parked there. None of them are gone out or taken out for nearly 3 weeks now. So I myself has not stepped out of the house except one occasion for a funeral. I had to conduct one funeral. Otherwise, I have not stepped out. Never in my life I've been locked down nearly 4 weeks without stepping out of the house. I self-quarantined myself much before the government issued an order to quarantine, because I felt that's the cleverest thing we can do. And I hate to be a cause for another person's suffering. I don't mind suffer, but I don't want to be a cause for another person to suffer. I'm sure we will come out of this corona COVID-19 infection time victoriously and successfully. I know many are going to get hurt, many are losing their lives, maybe more will lose their life in the days to come. But it's all God's plan. We are no one to question. Even if I question, I can't find an answer. Of course, we can say that the sin of the humanity has increased. People become selfish and prideful. People are not looking to God, so God allowed it to happen. I don't have a problem with that, to believe that God allowed this to happen. But remember, God allowed everything to happen to your life for a good reason. So a situation like this, we must learn to look to God and thank God for every situation. If you are safe and you have food to eat, you have a home to live, blessed are you. Think about the millions of people, no food to eat, no money in the pocket, and no home to stay, staying in rented places or maybe kicked out from your place, and worried about how do I buy my food next month. It is a tragic situation, but I want to tell you, our God is a God who works everything for good. Everything for good. So, we have to see beyond this time of suffering in our life. Some time back I was sharing that this suffering time, this is a time of lockdown, we have to spend time with the God to prepare ourselves for a rebuilding or a restoration. I believe God is wiring things down. God is restructuring things around us for a better world or a better life for us. Of course, some people say these are the last days. I have no argument. I would say these are the last days of the last days. But so what? Your life is in God's hand. There is no point, or there is no reason to press the panic button. Oh, these are the last days. These are the last days. Of course, these are the last days. So we've been living in the last days, and we are in the last days of the last days. But for us as a Christian, as a people who believe in God, people who live a righteous life, we got to be excited even if it's the last days, because your life is in God's hand. But if you are an unrighteous person, you are not walking with God, these days as the last days, you got to be really fearful, because you do not know what the life holds for you. So, let's look into the Bible, that why did God allow this kind of situation to come into our life? There are three things I want to share from the book of James chapter 1 verse 2 to 5. Number one, a command. And number two, there is a reason why God allows to suffer. And number three, there is a promise in the suffering. So, when a time of suffering like this comes, we should not picture ourselves as a victim. We should present ourselves as a student. We are not called to be victimized. We are called to be victorious. Apostle Paul says in Romans chapter 8, what shall I say about these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? You know, it's good for you to spend time with God and ask God, why did you allow this kind of situation to come? And if you sit with God with honesty, you're going to get up from your prayer time with an answer. Worry is something any fool can do, and the people who worry, they never make anything happen. But when you're concerned, you take your concerns to God in prayer, you will always come out with an answer. Let's turn our Bible to the book of James, chapter 1. Count it all pure joy when you are involved in various trials, because you know that your testing of your faith produces endurance, but you must let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be matured and complete and lacking nothing. Now, that one verse as a command, as a reason for suffering, and the outcome of the suffering. So, I want to share about these three things today. There is a command in the time of your suffering. There is a reason for your suffering, and there's an outcome for your suffering. So, number one command that God gives is that count it all pure joy when you face various kinds of trials. Now, that's a command. God wants you to be happy in this kind of situation. You know, in the world, people calls you for a party when things goes right. But in God's kingdom, He wants us to call for a party when things goes wrong. Every time something goes wrong, I know that God's finger is in my life. He has touched me and He's putting things in order. It's true that it's painful. It's true that it's aching and paining, because He's repairing, He's cutting some of the things, He's taking out some of the muck and He's stitching it up again. He's cleaning up. It is painful, but I know this operation of pain brings the best out of my life. So, count it all pure joy when you face various kinds of trials. Not one kind, not two kinds, not three kinds, not four kinds, various kinds. You know, God alone knows where to touch and when to touch. God alone knows what are the changes required in my life to bring the best out of my life. Years back when I became a Christian, I remember one pastor was preaching from the God is a repairer of our life. God is in control. And those days HMT, Hindustan Machine Tools, HMT watches were very famous. He said, if my HMT watch has a problem, if I go to the ordinary mechanic, he may fix it or he may mess it up.
But the right place for my watch to get fixed is to go to HMT mechanic. His creator knows what is wrong and how to fix it. He was saying that you are a creation of God. Like this HMT watch made in a factory, and I purchased, it has a purpose to tell me what's the time. And they made it so beautiful that everybody loves it. But I cannot repair. I don't even know what's all happening inside, how many wheels are inside, how many things are going. I don't know. But the Creator knows. So, when we have problem, we have to go to the one who made us. Don't go to a fake people. Many of our lives are jammed and messed up because we go to the wrong people. The Bible says, my people left the living well, which can quench their thirst, and went after the broken pits, which can never quench their thirst. Word of God teaches us, count it all pure joy when you face various kinds of trials. You have problem, take it to the Lord in prayer. You have difficulty, don't go to anybody else. Don't go after all the neo-gurus and prophets and all these fake people who says, I got the answer. There are so many people who are trying to define coronavirus who has not even been to the school. If you check in the WhatsApp, there are hundreds of messages. Solution, remedy, corona is not real, and all kinds. You were mad, you were crazy. These are the days of suffering, but in the days of suffering, we have to turn to a creator, not to any created things. The God who created knows where to press the reset button to get the earth fixed again. Count it all pure joy. In the time like this, don't think like a victim, think like a victor. Be a student of every situation that comes to your life. These are the days for us to learn for greatness. Every breakdown is to take you to a breakthrough. An arrow cannot go further without you stretching it towards back. The more you stretch towards back, more sharper the arrow goes. These are the days God is stretching the world back. Everybody parked all their cars, all their planes, all their trains, all the office, everything shut. Everybody is in their homes. These are the days you're going to sit in your homes and seek God's face. Don't run after false prophets. Don't run after people who try to escape why corona came. They don't know. In my Christian life of 33 years, I have seen enough false prophets who try to answer for every problem, and I found they all are wrong. My friend, these are not the days to be fearful. These are the days to become faithful. So number one, there's a command in a suffering time like this, is that count it all pure joy. Every morning you get up and say, God, I know that you're working for good. You're going to make good out of my life in this difficult situation. My life will not be wasted. My life will be invested. I will not be a victim of this situation. I'll be victorious in this situation. I don't want to look at a victim life. I wanted to be a student of this situation. So number one, when you go through a situation like this, you got to count it all pure joy, because you're facing various kinds of trials. So second is, there is a reason why God allows suffering to come. The verse 3 says, you know that because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. Now God allows suffering to come in order to teach us patience. How many of you know that God has wonderful plans for your life? In a situation like that, we have to learn to believe in God. There is a reason why God allow this kind of hard times to come. There is reason why God allow you to be in difficulty, because He is testing your faith in order to develop perseverance. Every word of this verse is crucial. The phrase "you know" means God taking it serious to get you into a right shape. He gives you some hard knocks, and He pull you, push you, shape you, mix you, reshape you for a better purpose, because He has a plan for your life. Job 33 verse 10, He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I will come forth as a pure gold. So, second is the reason for your hard time. The reason for your hard time is testing you. Now, Paul says in Corinthians, all of us are building. Some build with wood, hay, and grass. Some build with the gold and precious metals. Every work will be tested by fire. The work that endure the fire will receive a reward. Wood and hay or grass, you see on the surface of the earth. They grow fast, they look attractive, but they don't withstand the fire. Precious metal, gold or silver or precious stones, they are in the bosom of the earth. They don't look attractive, but the more you put in the fire, more sharper and more precious they become. When they dig out these stones, precious stones, how do they value the worth of a stone? Is that they send this stone through a rigorous furnace or kind of hard times. The stone that don't get crushed, the stone that can take more cutting, the more you cut, more sharper it becomes, is a precious stone. But the stone that crack, the moment you start cutting, they are not a stone of value. So all our works will be tested by fire. The work that will stand in the fire is a work that receives the reward. A time like this had come for a reason. The reason is to test your faith. And this kind of hardship time is a time of process to build perseverance. These are the time for us to build our faith, to see our life beyond coronavirus, beyond the hardship. We human beings have the history of overcoming every disastrous time. This is not the first time the world hit by epidemic. In 1914, there was a Spanish flu, killed millions of people. Of course, there were a lot of doom preachers said that this is the end of the world will be wiped out, nobody will be left, and Jesus will come. 100 years passed, we are still going on. In my lifetime, I had seen a financial meltdown, 1980, 85. A lot of people said this is the end. My Bible says everything has a reason. Even if this epidemic becomes worse, I die. So what? Everybody has to die one day. The good news is, you will never die without you finishing the work that God has assigned for it. And in case you finish the work that God gave you, don't you think it's better to go back? I don't want to stay a day more than what God wants me to stay here. Not even an hour more I want to stay. I want to complete my work and I want to go back. So, number one, there is a command. The command says, rejoice when you face various kinds of trial. Number two, there is a reason why God allowed the suffering to come. God allowed the suffering to come to build your character. These are the days you need to polish your character. You need to purify yourself. These are the days to close your door, stay in house, spend time with God, and learn what God is trying to say. In a time of no money in your hand, reveal how much faith you have. It's very easy to say God will provide my need when I know there is a fixed salary is coming for me every month. But it will be very difficult to say God will provide my need when I can't see any salary coming. When I can't see any provision coming. There is no food in the house. My children are going to cry for food. My house is going to be empty. I can't pay my rent. And say God will provide. That's faith. That's called perseverance. That's called character. Like I was sharing yesterday, when Abraham was walking into the Mount Moriah, the son asked, Dad, we have the fire, we have the wood, we have the knife, but where is the animal to be sacrificed? I like Abraham. He said, on the mountain of the Lord shall provide. So there is a reason why God allowed suffering to come. The reason that God allows suffering to come is to build a great character in your life. I am a Christian. I believe that God works everything for good. There is nothing that God does to harm me. Everything God does to bless me and prosper me. I have a home built in heaven, not by man's hand, by God's hand. I have an eternal home built in heaven. This earth is not my permanent home. I own nothing in this world. I only owe my life to Jesus. Even this very house I live, it's not mine. I have only a paper to say it's mine, but any time I can lose. You own nothing. You only owe to God your life, that He saved you and He blessed you into what you are. David said, I've been young and I've been old, but I never seen a righteous man's children begging for food. God works everything for good, my friend. The third is a result. Why do God allow the hard time to come? The result is verse 4, you must let the endurance to have its full effect, so that you will be matured and complete and lack nothing. Now, that's the reason. That is the result. So there is a command from God to you this suffering time. Rejoice. Be joyful. Be excited. Have a party that you are going through difficulty. Rejoice. There is a reason why God allowed this to happen, is to teach you perseverance, to build your character. And there's a product out of its suffering. Product is that you will be complete, perfect, lack nothing as a matured person. My hard times get me close to God. My good times make me getting carried away. My hard time help me to reflect on myself. My good time, I tend to take things for granted, but I don't want to do that. Even in my good times, I want to be fearful and careful, knowing that it's not mine, it is God's. I own nothing in the world. My life is a gift from God. Your life is a gift from God. You own nothing. All those things you think you own, you doesn't own it. God owns everything. You could lose everything overnight. But what God gives to you, no one can take it away, and you never, never lose it. So there is a command, there is a reason, and there is a result. Command is rejoice when you are tested. Be extremely joyful when you face various kinds of results. Reason the suffering comes in your life is to build a character, to teach you perseverance, to build you as a strong person in God. The product of your bad times, the product of your hardship is that you will be matured, complete, perfect, and lack nothing. That's the time Psalm number 23 become real. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. So these are the corona times. We all started this year with great hope and faith. We as a church, we said this is a year of fresh anointing, and we still believe, we still pray, we still look to God for a fresh anointing. God is not a liar. God is not a man that he would lie. Everything that God said will come to pass. Don't lose your heart. Don't be discouraged. In the time of difficulty like this, believe and remember, God works everything for good because he loves you and he has a wonderful plan for your life. So my friend, count it all pure joy when you're facing various kinds of trials. There is a reason. The reason is to build a character in you. Learn to teach you patience. There's a product out of your difficult situation. Product is that you will be perfect, complete, and lack nothing. May the Lord bless you. Let's endure this coronavirus epidemic time joyfully. Let's trust God. Let's depend on Jesus. Let's not get upset or worried or disturbed by listening to too many people. Listen to the good news of Jesus. He says, rejoice, endure hardship as a good soldier. Count it out pure joy when you face various kinds of trial. There is a command, be joyful. There is a reason, building a character. There is a result, you'll be complete, perfect, and lack nothing. God bless you. Have a great day. Hi, thank you for all those who've been supporting El Shaddai in these days. These are difficult times all over India. So many people are living in poverty. Millions of people lost their jobs. We are entering into one of the most difficult times. We are already entered. But people like you made it possible for us to feed some people. Thank you for supporting us. El Shaddai has been looking after 150 children who has nowhere to go. We are also feeding hundreds of people in the streets of Goa. There are a lot of migrant workers, a lot of poor families. They do not know where to look for their next meal. Some people have been supported by government, but somehow there are a lot of migrants, a lot of poor people in construction sites and streets and different places don't have food, don't have anything to eat. And we have taken this mission of feeding hundreds of people every day. Your help us to feed so many people. Every day our team, 3 teams going out to these places with all the precautions to feed hundreds of people. And I want you to join with us to support the poor. These are the days all of us need to show some kindness to people who are in need. Look, your money cannot protect you. Your building cannot protect you. Even the people who lived in the royal palace got coronavirus and died. But there is one thing, your goodness can protect you. You're welcome to donate clothes or food or groceries, anything that you want. Some of us been managed to collect food grains and we supplied to some poor areas, and we made food packets and distributed. And we wanted to help more people. There's so many people are in need. So I encourage all of you to open your purse, open your check, or open your phone, transfer some money, send us some support. You can give anything, rice or grocery or sugar or wheat or dal, anything that you want. There are people who need help. We all must together fight against this coronavirus. Thank you for supporting El Shaddai. Please continue supporting for us. When you support us, we could feed many. Your support enable our hands to feed thousands of people. Thank you very much. God bless you.